I'm trying to bring Wesley, and also it's having issues connecting, but I'm trying to.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I just wanted to like agree with something you're saying, and a previous speaker around like diagnosing like what our president like might be kind of a person which is like, it's a very strong narcissistic personality. Yeah? Like it's very difficult to ignore just, observing him. And I think, I'm not sure if it was you or it was someone else who said, yeah, it can look from out here kuwa maybe wanajibamba, but it looks very lonely in there. Yeah, like it has to be lonely. Like when, like having a vice president, yeah, like that is an elected position, yeah, in technically. And when people go to the polls, they are voting for both of you, yeah. But right now, it's almost like he's kind of finding his fellow puppet, yeah, or rather like he's finding his puppet akakadoli kake kwenye anaweza, he can do whatever he wants with, yeah. And it's terrible. Like I think most of you have probably already seen like what he said about like Meru people. Yeah, like being very tribalistic. Um, he's not the kind of person that you can actually like like depend on. Yeah, like even thinking back about like the promulgation of the Constitution of Kenya in 2010. Like looking backwards in 2005, yeah, sure, fine. When the original constitution was proposed, yeah, it wasn't that great, and he was on the right side of history when he said no to it. But he kind of lost his way. Yeah, he forgot that people actually like the second constitution that was proposed in 2010, people worked on it. Yeah, like law professors, a bunch of people worked on it, and it was a decent one. Yeah, but if he was on the wrong side of history at that moment, yeah, because alisahau kuwa like you can't just continue being on the other side just because you want to stand out. Yeah, and I think that's what he has kept doing. Even during the BBS situation, he did that just to stand out. And that's technically how he basically was able to convince a bunch of people that he could even be worthy of presidency when it came to 2022. And right now you can clearly see it. You can clearly see how like it's almost like he's so dysfunctional. You even wonder, like, do you not know that things are going bad? Am I you just like intentionally are making things bad? Yeah, and it's good to the point like whenever you see him speak, you wonder like, do you know which country you lead? Do you know exactly what's happening on the ground? Do you know what your cabinet secretaries are doing? Do you know exactly what's happening? And I don't think he knows. I basically think that he's in disbelief. He's basically sitting on his throne, and he just like that kind of person who just like wants to sit down and just like I relax. I just like enjoy the fact that he's at the top, but he's forgetting that the kind of job that he's taken is not meant for that. Yeah, like he's taken a very important job where like he's supposed to perform. Yeah, and he's breaking everything, and he doesn't care that he's breaking everything. And it's very clear from like even the Gen Z protests how like he ran to Naivasha with this bunch of like sycophants from both the county government and from the national government, and they tried to be like, oh, okay, so basi tumetoa the tax on bread, so is everything fine? And then they realized no, it's not fine. And then once like young men and women broke into the parliament, the first thing he did, if everyone remembers, he actually put out the army. Like that's a very petty thing to do. Yeah, like you cannot give away the only tool that you have to actually protect yourself as a president and protect the country that you're supposed to serve. Yeah, against a bunch of young men and women who the only tool they had was a bottle of water, most of them. Yeah, and from there it became worse and worse and worse. It almost looked like he didn't even understand the situation. He didn't understand what to do. Yeah, it almost looked like he like umeona yule mse mwenye like now he's sitting down and he's like, oh, was I supposed to work today? Yeah, And that's exactly how he responded. And up to today, that's exactly how he's responding. Like he's, he's sacrificing almost every person around him and, trying to buy like the loyalties that he had in 2007 and almost like thinking that, that's what's going to win him over. And he's not realizing that it's no longer a game of tribe. It's no longer a game of class. Yeah. Now it's a game of whether or not you're doing it. And I can only imagine how he's gonna take it when he loses in 2027. I can only imagine.
Bernard, yeah, you don't even need to imagine because there is nothing like 2027. That should not be an option. 2027 can never be there. We are going to do everything possible to make sure kwamba election haitakuwa 2027. Election can be next year, can be even next month, or can be February, can be March, can be April. So 2027 is not even an option. Si hata kitu ya kufikiria. We can never participate in election 2027 and we cannot. Hatuwezi kufinyiliwa hivi mpaka 2027. Why now? Sababu tulifanya nini? Ati tuendelee kuteseka hivi mpaka 2027 sababu yeye ni nani? William Ruto can hapana bana. Hata tusio that is not even an option. Ile kitu iko sahihi. Yes.
I'm giving Ruto as a prophet of nyumba ya Mombi, Murima yenye iliguzwa, by July 2025, he will be either dead, vitu tatu, alituambia yeye mwenyewe. Either tutoke Kenya, ama tuende jela, ama tukufe. Nimemupa chance moja ya kwenda jela, chance moja ya kutoka Kenya, ama atakufa. End of story.
Thank you. Yes, they say there is power in the tongue, so ile kitu alijitamkia ndio itamfikia mwenyewe. Na waliposema Swahili mchimba kisima uingia mwenyewe. So hizo vitu tatu alikuwa anajichimbia, ataingia mwenyewe. Just vile Rigiji alizunguka akisema amewekea watu mtego na mtego ikamnasa yeye mwenyewe. So ile mambo ambayo walikuwa nasema they are going to swallow, those words are going to swallow them. Those words are going to swallow them. When you are a leader, that is why you should behave even how you talk, because those words that you think, because of the power that you have, you think that you are using those words to intimidate others. Those words can turn against you. And this is a good example that has manifested in regard, even though we don't support because of the process, but still because of the carelessness of the words that he used. So hata Ruto, these words amekuwa akitumia, very soon it is going to turn against him. Yes, Elida, welcome.
Yeah.
You have gathered strength now.
No, sometimes it is, this forum is really just so very important. And even when sometimes I feel so hopeless, it's not that I'm not a strong person, because even in my life, in my family, we have really spiritual battles that we are facing and that we are contending with. Because this evil is not only in the country, but it starts within the family structure, and then it spreads its tentacle to the whole nation. So it's really just so nice how you gave me, word of encouragement. Today I was praying with my siblings, and I'm the one who was encouraging them, and now you're the one who is encouraging me. But what I just want to, what I'm just thinking is, okay, Ruto is really, I would just describe Ruto as the devil's incarnate in the country. He is the epitome of evilness. But what, Ruto, I have my brother-in-law is someone who was very high up in treasury. During Kibaki's time, he was very high up in the treasury there. And he is really connected to the finance world. And there was a time he was giving me some information that you know, that, okay, we know that at the end of the day, America is really is involved in all this. They have the final say who really is in control of this nation. And he was telling me, I don't know if people have heard of this Jeffrey Sachs. And if people can remember the Eurobond, that all that money that was stolen. And you know, my brother-in-law, he's the person who just explained what happened to this money and how this money just went missing. He's the one Raila one time consulted and called, and they had a very big conference, and even he appeared in one of these, you know, international TV explaining what happened to the country, to the money. And what I just wanted to say is that when he has very good contact with Jeffrey Sachs, and Jeffrey Sachs was just saying whatever is happening in Africa is it cries to the high heavens, and he was going to take this case of this money that was stolen, this Eurobond. He was going to take it to the American court, so that this money could be released and to come back to the country. And you know, when Jeffrey Sachs started that process with my brother-in-law, and then you know, Joe Biden, you know, very, very people powerful in America, just called him and tell him he should let that matter rest. So it is like America, they don't have our best interest at heart. That is one thing that people should actually know, that, you know, we are on our own. And if we are going to take back our country, we just have to rely, it is us. It is us actually against this globalist and against this corrupt regime, people like Ruto and Raila. And one thing, actually, where I was heading to was the fact that when Ruto, he was going to resign. My brother-in-law told me that actually during that Gen Z, Ruto became so scared, and he was in Nakuru, and he was going to actually he was ready to resign. But Raila is the one who really just told him, Akuna mali unaenda, you're not going anywhere. And then there was a lot of money that, you know, an exchange took place. So the question, even when we are discussing Ruto, we should also discuss Raila, because Raila seems to be a very powerful person who, like, when things are going haywire in the country, it's like, you know, USA or the farm, England, they always call to Raila to come and just steal the rebellion that is brewing in the country. And one thing I remember is that during, actually, I've asked myself so many questions that why I always say that our problem is even spiritual. During Shakahola, when Raila went to Shakahola, that is how that thing just died. And the same thing I noticed when Raila went to that quarry, the same thing happened. So, you know, even as we're discussing Ruto, we should check the people who are backing him up, the backups that he has. Because after Raila came and supported Ruto, Ruto has even become so defiant. He's become really defiant. And it's like, you know, who will challenge him? That is just what I wanted to add up to what I'd said before.